How's it going, everyone? It's your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself, and today, ladies and gents, we're going to take a quick peek at the Deviant Crystalbeard Uragaan. Now, the Deviant Crystalbeard Uragaan is definitely my favorite, simply because my favorite monster in all of Monster Hunter is the Uragaan. So you actually won't even get a really biased video today, because as far as Deviants go, he's not really that different from his standard counterpart. But let's take a step back and let's talk about what you guys need to do to actually unlock the ability to fight the guy. So you're gonna want to go to your your hub city, if you will, HR 5, and complete the quest Fight or Uragaan. Once you complete this quest, you'll be able to go to your housekeeper or your feline cat housekeeper guy, cat lady thing, whatever you want to call it, and purchase the tickets. Once you purchase the tickets, you know you can fight the monster. But let's move over. Now, the Crystalbeard Uragaan, he is, there's only a couple of things that make him different from the standard counterpart. As you can look at his face right then and there, it is his chin, the crystal beard, if you will. Also, at the tip of his tail, he has the same, crystalline structures at the tip of his tail as he does on his chin. And truth be told, from what I'm to understand and, convey over to you, is that the reason as to why his beard and tail are like this is because when a Uragaan goes to look for a mate, they go and find precious ores and materials and shiny rocks and what have you, and compress them to their chins and tails to impress, would-be mates. This is what I'm told, and that's the only real difference. And truth be told, they're really not necessarily deviants. They're just Uragaan going through, I guess, the day-to-day of a Uragaan trying to get a mate. But that's that. But moving over, let's talk about the things that make him actually different from the standard counterpart. Now, the Crystalbeard Uragaan, he only has a couple of moves that make him different. One of his moves is that when he rolls around, he actually has the ability to fling rocks off his back as he's rolling. Now, this is an attack that is relegated to Crystalbeard much later in the level. So once he gets around like level 7 or so on the Crystalbeard Uragaan, he'll have the ability to do so. Another ability he has that the same rock kind of situation. He will fling rocks from his tail, much in the same fashion where a regular Uragaan will fling rocks, but one of these rocks are actually a shiny rock. This rock you can mine off of it, and if you stand too close to it, could potentially put you to sleep. It just gives off a slight sleep gas effect, so it's pretty cool. You can mine it, like I said, but if you don't want to, it's cool. It still explodes though, much like the other rocks. Another ability that it has is that he can actually fling rocks from his chin, similar to that of the Devil Joe, when a Devil Joe would like toss a rock at you or any would-be enemy or intruder, depending on where he actually is, will determine the properties of this rock. So if it's just a rock from the middle of the ground, it'll be a standard rock. But if he's in like some lava and he does it, it'll be a fire rock. Same thing then and there. Okay, so the Treasure-clad Uragaan's main weakness is water. No surprise there, right? But his secondary weakness is actually dragon. Now, the difference between these two weaknesses are very, very minute, actually. It's kind of crazy how close the resistances are for this guy. So you can totally go in here with either water or dragon and do almost just enough of a good job as the other guy, But another interesting thing I would like to point out, though, is that ice. Ice, it isn't the greatest. I mean, it's kind of a weakness, yeah. But if you have like a hammer, a hammer, I guess I should say. If you have a hammer, I would totally recommend you bring in the ice, because it has the biggest elemental damage buff on the head, and that's where you guys are supposed to work, right? So totally do that. Granted, right off the rip, it doesn't have one, but once you break it, boom, you're in there. So totally go in here with either water or dragon, literally either water or dragon, and you're totally fine. But if you're a hammer user and want to go for that ultimate, elemental damage, consider bringing an ice hammer, breaking the head, and going from there. Okay, right now I'm just gonna assume that everyone knows how Deviant gear works. You have to get the tickets to upgrade the gear. For the armor, go to level 6, get your soul skill. Weapons give you extra boosts when you try to get up your hunter arts, etc, etc. If you don't really know, you can check like some of my older Deviant explain videos, and I totally underline it like mad good. But let's just say that we all know this for the sake of the video and what have you, and let's move on. Now, the Deviant Uragaan's gear isn't really all that good. I mean, the weapons are pretty nice. It has this good attack on and everything, but the armor is key. The armor itself gives you great luck and trump card. Now, these two skills are pretty good. Great luck is great because it's great luck. Trump card allows you to actually boost the abilities of your hunter arts. For instance, a great example is if you have evasion, absolute evasion on your as one of your hunter arts. If you have trump card, your hand will glow, and you'll be able to do the evasion thing twice. Like you'll hit the evasion art, and then you'll do the super evasion twice. You'll like you'll fly, then you'll fly again. You know, I'm guessing for other arts, it gives you attack boosts and what have you and whatnot. So that's a pretty cool ability. Trump card. Now, Great Luck is Great Luck, and his soul skill, the Crystalbeard skill, it gives you Charm Chaser and Negate Hunger. Two totally almost useless skills. So people tend to really just use the Crystalbeard Uragaan armor set for gem farming, because you have Charm Chaser and Great Luck. More items at the end of the quest, and more chances to actually get a charm. So I mean, that's the thing. But his weapons are actually pretty good, kinda, you know what I mean? They have really good attack. They all have like high attack, like 220-ish. Gives you +5 on the affinity and 10 on the defense. Only thing to really leave much to be desired is the sharpness. The sharpness doesn't necessarily move from green all by itself. You need sharpness +1 or either sharpness +2 to actually give you the blue. And there's not a lot of blue anyway. So, I mean, I guess weapons are pretty decent. They could totally be better. They are kind of, in my opinion, outclassed by other weapons from like other monsters. I mean, they totally could have given my man some better sharpness, but Uragaan weapons are routinely the duller weapons of the game. But they tend to have a really good amount of attack, which I would have assumed that they would have gave it like 240 attack or something like that, as opposed to 220. But you know, all beggars can be choosers, and not everyone can win. But with that being said, everyone, it's been your boy Dak908. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I mean, this one didn't have like mad amounts of information because there's nothing really different about Treasure Clad Uragaan. I mean, he is my favorite deviant because he's a Uragaan. Uragaan is my favorite monster, and even I don't have anything to really talk about with this guy. There's nothing really different. I mean, his gear is kind of meh, so there's nothing to really get excited about. But no, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But if you guys like to see me do another one of these videos, of course, there's a couple more monsters out there to do. Let me know which ones you would like to see. I've yet to do Hellblade, Dread King, or One Eye, or I think it's Dead Eye in the English version, Garuga. There might be another one I'm missing, I'm not entirely sure, but there's only a few of these things left. But let me know which ones you would like to see next, and I'll see you next time. Take care.